Alright. Alright, welcome back to another one. This is the second video of the channel. We are going to explore a topic that I said I was going to explore the other day, and that is what are blockchain technologies. I have a list of information, a bit of information that I have gathered for you today to basically explain floating spider. To basically explain to you as best I can in the simplest but not too simplified way of what they are, what they do, what are they uses, who uses them, why use them, what are they used for, and their connection to cryptocurrency, etc., etc. I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. And remember, I am not a financial advisor. Gotta say that while we start early, folks. So anyways, a blockchain, it's basically a special kind of digital record keeping system that is designed to be secure and transparent and decentralized, which is why it is so important in crypto and finance. As I mentioned, if you watched our previous video, is why it's why, but also how these systems, these currencies are able to be kept like uncontrolled, ungoverned, and to the people, etc., etc. So to break it down in plain-ish terms, blockchain is like a shared online ledger. Now, if you don't know what ledger means, I'll explain that another time. You can look it up right now, but I'll explain after we get through this. I'll explain this. You should know, if you're getting into this, knowing what a ledger is very important. Actually, I think I can explain it right now. What a ledger is. So, essentially, what a ledger is, it's just a record book of transactions. Essentially, how do I put it? It's like the safekeep. It's what keeps like the notes for stuff that happened, right? So it keeps track of who owns what and what happened where, and when you own this. If let's say you gave it away, like let's say you paid for something, then now a different person owns it. So you can think of it like a notebook where you write down money coming in or out, or different transactions. So basically, a big example, a common example, is how banks use ledgers to track your account balance, your deposit and withdrawals, your transfers, and also, which connects back to blockchain technology, why it's so important for cryptocurrencies and how it keeps going ungoverned, is that the ledgers that banks uses, they control those ledgers, and you have to trust them to keep it accurate. For blockchain, it's shared across many computers. In most cases, it's public, and it's very hard to change. So basically, it's only changed by you. It's only changed by the people, and the people who own it. So basically, for blockchain technology, this ledger is a self-governed, self-controlled ledger that the trust is basically on you and the people around you. And you can't get more trustworthy than that, right? Because no one can modify it except for you and whoever you're transacting with, or whatever you're transacting with, right? So anyways, going back, now that I've explained what a ledger is, the blockchain is basically a shared online ledger record book. So the information is stored in blocks, which is essentially chunks of data. Each block is linked to a previous one, which forms a chain. Hence why it's called a block, which is the data, chain because they're all linked together. And once the data is added, it's very hard to change or delete without actually let's say the only way it's going to change is if it needs to be changed. Like if a transaction happens, and even then, the data that's stored in a block doesn't have how do I explain it? So I said it could change if a transaction is made, but that was inaccurate, because the reality is that a new blockchain, a new block for that chain, is going to be created. The old data is going to be stored. It's going to be kept. What happened. It's basically information. So it's not actually going to be changed. Nothing's actually going to be changed. That was inaccurate of me, and that's why I say I'm not a financial advisor. That's why you should not take my word completely. You should fact check everything, but I'm trying to give you the most accurate information as I can. So I'm gonna slip up from time to time, people. We do it. We make mistakes, but hopefully I will catch all my mistakes very quickly, as I just did in this explanation. So anyways, as I was saying, it's not actually changed. You really can't change it. It's just a new block is added to the chain once the transaction is something added. So anyways, once the data is added, it's very hard to change or delete, and hopefully that doesn't happen, because if that's happening, you're likely being scammed. But anyways, so you basically get a timeline of transactions that everyone can verify. including you, including anyone looking at it, anyone you are in contact with. And so the key idea of using blockchain technology for cryptocurrency is that there's no central authority. Traditional systems like the banks rely on a central authority, and essentially the bank keeps track of your money. They control your money. They can do stuff with your money. It's sort of like, you ever hear about like how, let's say you put $10 in the bank, right? You put $10 in the bank, right? And that money then becomes their money. So they can actually give the money that you gave them, they can actually loan that away, and at points probably won't actually have your money. That's why there's a process, everything can take time. And so you have to wait for the money that you put in, because that money you put in might not be there. Maybe it is, so then hopefully it gets fast, but in some cases it won't be. And so they'll give you a different $10, or basically the money that you put in isn't the money that you're getting back, if you know what I'm saying. So anyways, that's the thing with banks. So you have to put a lot of trust in them and hope that nothing goes awry and whatnot. So anyways, with blockchain, the record is stored across many computers and network. No single company or government controls it. And essentially that whole thing is what's called decentralization. Decentralization, no control, it goes to all the people, etc., etc. So anyways, how blockchain relates to crypto is that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum run on these blockchains. They use this, and that's what keeps it decentralized. So when you, like, for instance, you send a Bitcoin to someone, the transaction is broadcast to the network, it gets verified by participants, which is miners and validators, and the validator, like you and the person you're transacting to. It's added to a block, and that block is added to the chain permanently. That transaction happened, it's saved, no one can say it didn't happen, and if it changed, you should be concerned. But luckily, very unlikely, because it's very encrypted, very safe. It's like a titanium wall, you're not getting through that. Hackers are more than likely, unless they're on top of the top, not getting through that. Your stuff is safe, you don't have to worry, it's there, it happened, and no one can say it didn't. Verified data. Now, why people would care about blockchain is one, security. The transactions, as I was just saying, are protected using cryptography, which actually would make for a good video. I think we're gonna get into that next. What is cryptography? Cryptography. Do you know what that is? If not, we'll get into another video. I will not explain it right now, because I think that could make for an entire video on itself. Maybe. But anyways, so changing past data is extremely difficult. With security, there's transparency. Many blockchains are public. Anyone can view the transactions. And then there's also trust without middlemen, which I mentioned in the previous video. What that is, basically, you don't need a bank to confirm transactions. The network itself verifies everything, right? So, like, a bank could say, like, your money was transferred, right? But it might not have actually been. Once again, that money you put in, they might be using it for something else. You know what I'm saying? It's not actually going to your account. It's actually just floating in the atmosphere for them to hopefully give back, but might not, right? So this it keeps everything right there. It's self-confirmed. You know where it is. If it says it's in your closet, for example, you put the money in the safe, you know it's in the safe, right? That's what blockchain does. In finance and stuff, it's used and being explored for, like, payments, faster international transfers, right? If I want to transfer, like, I don't know if it's gotten there yet. Not proficient, but like, transfer, like, money from yuan to the dollar quickly, right? That's international transfers. Smart contracts, like self-executing agreements on platforms like Ethereum, decentralized finance, or DeFi, which is like lending, borrowing, or trading without banks, and then asset tracking, so like stocks, real estate, digital ownership. So anyways, a few downsides to know, obviously. There are downsides always. It's still evolving technology. It's only been here since perhaps around like 2009, maybe 2015. My dates are not accurate at all, but around that time frame. It's fairly recent in the sense that it's not more than, I believe, 2 decades old. So anyways, a few downsides. It can be slow or just expensive depending on the network, depending on what you use. Regulation is still evolving, because essentially it's not exactly regulated. It is regulated, but not exactly, because you can only regulate it so much, because the whole point of a blockchain technology is that it's not governed. There's no middleman. This is our money. We figure ourselves. This is the maximum trust. So regulation is a little iffy how you do it, and not all projects are trustworthy. Lots of scams exist, as you should know, as you should be aware of, so you have to be careful of that. So a simple analogy to this is imagining like per se a Google Doc shared with thousands of people. Everyone can see the update most times, not always, but everyone can see the updates. No one can secretly change past entries, and every line is permanently recorded. That's essentially what a blockchain is. Now, the basic flow of a blockchain transaction, basically how it works, let's say you send some Bitcoin to a friend. You create a transaction. You say, send 1 Bitcoin to a friend. Your digital wallet signs this using a private key, like a secret password, and yeah, it goes through. The transaction is broadcast. It gets sent out to a network of like a few thousand, maybe multiple thousands of computers, usually called nodes, and everyone on the network sees it, or maybe no one on besides you and the person you're transacting with sees it. But basically, no matter what, if it's you're part of the transaction, you'll see it. Now, the network then verifies it, right? The computer checks things like, do you have enough Bitcoin? Can you send that 1 Bitcoin? If you have 0 Bitcoin, you can't send it. But if you have 1 Bitcoin, then you can send it. And is it your signature? Is it your passkey? Is it your password? Was it you who put it in? It checks that out depending on what you're using, depending on the encryption or security you're using, and it sends it out. If it considers it valid, and everything checks out, it goes out. Now, these transactions are grouped into blocks. Verified transactions are bundled together into a block, and it's kind of like a page in a ledger. So the ledger is the entire book, and this is like 1 page of it, right? And then the data is like obviously the blocks and whatnot. So anyways, the block then gets approved, which is the most important part, because different blockchains essentially they use different methods, right? So proof of work, which is used by Bitcoin, is computers compete to solve complex math puzzles, which is called mining. That's what all the mining stuff is, and that could be another video in itself, what mining is, etc., etc. And there's also proof of stake, which is used by Ethereum today, which is where validators stake coins and are chosen to confirm transactions, right? And once the network essentially agrees, the block is accepted, it's put in, everything goes on, this happened here, this happened there, ta-da, transaction done. Now, the block is then added to the chain. The new block links to the previous one using cryptography. I still have no idea how to say that, but it creates a secure chain of history, and it becomes permanent. Your transaction is now recorded, is extremely hard to change or remove. You wouldn't want that anyways, and it's very nice. And that's what makes it really secure. I mean, each block contains a list of transactions, a timestamp, a hash, which is a unique digital fingerprint, and the hash of the previous block. And when you add another, it's the hash of the previous block. It keeps it. If someone tries to change the block, the hash changes, which breaks the chain, and the network rejects it. Right, so that's like an anti-hack. That's like the encryption part. So a quick analogy of basically what that is you could think of it like a train. Each car is a block of transactions. Each car is locked onto the one before it, and you could add new cars, but you can't go back and swap the old ones. Once you get moving, it's limited. Now, this isn't the best analogy because in reality, you can, like for a train, actually switch out the cars and whatnot, but it's like a simple way to get it. So like a one-liner summary. Basically how blockchain works is by verifying transactions through a network, grouping them into blocks, and permanently linking them together in a secure shared record. Now, a lot of different companies are using it right now. It's not like super widespread, like every company is using it, but a good amount of companies are using it currently, and it's evolving. Like every day, more companies are doing it. But a lot of big companies are starting to use the blockchain to move money faster and cheaper. For instance, JP Chase. It uses its own blockchain, which was created called Onyx, and it's used for instant payments between institutions. Another is Visa, which processes some transactions, not all, using blockchain and some stablecoins. Right? PayPal lets users buy, sell, and hold crypto. That's an example. And essentially, the goal of these companies using it is faster global payments without traditional delays. You don't have to wait on a bank to confirm this, all the paperwork. I mean, they're transferring the money here and moving it there and stuff like that. And none of that. All that nonsense, that was filler. That took like 5-8 seconds of your time. You didn't need that. Blockchain makes it so that I just said it immediately. Bam, 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 thank you, ma'am. And it's just done. And so there's like a supply chain, you can track the products. Companies will use blockchain to track goods from origin to store. For instance, Walmart tracks food like lettuce to quickly find contamination sources. Or IBM built blockchain platforms for tracking shipments and logistics. So basically, it's transparency and safety. Honesty is key, truth is key, etc., etc. Now, other tech companies and cloud platforms are also building blockchain infrastructure, such as Microsoft, which is offering blockchain tools via cloud services, and then Amazon, which lets companies build blockchain networks easily. Which is basically capitalism allows other businesses to use or build their own blockchain while making money off of that. And you know how it goes. This is America. I mean, what can we say? Or maybe it's not America. But anyways, American companies and other companies. I mean, who doesn't want to make money, right? That's why we're here. That's why we're getting into crypto, because we want to make money too. If you watched the other video, you know how that goes, investing and whatnot. So anyways, there's also other uses that are coming in, such as gaming, owning in-game items like as digital assets, or NFTs, which is digital ownership, real estate as well, recording property ownership. These are all new things coming in, being utilizing blockchain, keep it in and whatnot. And some important reality checks, though, is like, even though many companies use blockchain, most don't use public crypto like Bitcoin directly. They often use private or controlled blockchains, and it's still evolving technology, not fully mainstream ever. Now, my biggest reference point for these simple notes, for the simple description, is usually Bitcoin. It's just the most popular. It's the easiest to understand. When people hear Bitcoin, they immediately get it, you know. But it's not the only one. There's more out there. I mean, just a ton that you can look into, and you can see what they're doing, and it's evolving every day. But Bitcoin is just like that main central one. Almost everyone knows about it. It's big right now. It's been big for the past decade or two, and whatnot. Almost decade. I mean, it's 3 years from decade, 2009. So anyways, companies use blockchain mainly to track things, move money faster, and reduce middlemen. It's a big word right now, middlemen, because that's the big thing. That's the big thing about the reason for blockchains and cryptocurrencies for being is to make it so that things can be safer. More trust can be built. Security. My money is my money, and no one can do anything about it. That's the main ideology. So, anyways, a few more things that blockchains are good for. Basically, it's useful anywhere you need a secure, shared, tamper-proof record. Right? So like digital identity, instead of logging into everything with passwords, you could have a blockchain-based ID. You control your own data, not Google, not banks, and it's used for you can use it for passports, online accounts, verifying age or credentials, and basically more privacy and less identity theft. Smart contracts. They're programs. Automatically execute agreements. Like example on Ethereum, you pay rent on the first day of the month, release money when the package is delivered, no layer middleman needed. You can automate the trust. Voting systems. Blockchain could make voting. I mean, transparent can verify votes. It's hard to tamper with. I mean, there's so many uses that blockchain could have in the future that could be, or that it's good for now. It can be used in small-scale elections, experiments with digital voting. Now, it's still controversial, obviously, due to some security concerns, because it's still evolving, still being made. I mean, security has gone very far, but it's still going. So there's still stuff that needs to be answered for, stuff that needs to be tested for, etc., etc. As I mentioned, digital ownership, NFTs, art, music, game items. I mean, you know how that goes. Health care records, patient data being stored securely, shared between doctors when needed, hard to alter or lose, which is going to be great, which is being great, etc. Supply chains beyond the basics of moving stuff, basically improving products are ethically stored, verifying authenticity, and then real estate, as mentioned before, recording property owner. I mean, there's so many things that it can be used for, or that it is being used for. But that essentially sums up what blockchain technology. Now, I'm trying to keep it simple, so I'm not going into super depth like how it's made, how it does this. Oh, what is this? A squared, B squared, C squared, triangulating, sine, cosine, tangent. No, we're just a simple, quick explanation that doesn't take too long to get you on track on understanding what the technology is beyond cryptocurrencies, understanding security. Like, let's say you're like, I want to get into cryptocurrency, but will I lose my money in it? Well, you might if you run into a scam. If you go into a scam, you might. Now, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Just saying, so I can get to this next part, right? So then you're wondering what makes it secure, whether you're gonna get into Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, into cryptocurrencies or not, whether or not they're secure. You find out what they're running on, which is blockchain technology, and basically you find out security, and then you make decisions based off what you learn. And I think that about sums it up. I think I could close out for this video right now. Just a simple explanation. What were blockchain technologies? This is blockchain for dummies, and I hope you enjoyed. The information is whatever you do with it, and I will see you, hopefully, in the next one.